Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today's video is going to be a nail video. It's going to be a nail video. I got some products from Vivid Glam Co. Some products they sent to me to try out. So I'm going to give them a try on this video. This is going to be my first impression of this company. I've never bought anything from this company. It's my first time using them. Although I've always wanted to use them, I've never used them. So they sent me a set of dip liquids. All of the liquids from start to finish, and a brush saver, so that was pretty cool. The liquids came with an instruction sheet that had all of the instructions on how to use the liquids from start to finish. I got a base coat, a top coat, and a activator, and I also got, again, the brush saver. So those are the 4 bottles that I got. I also got a new collection, the whole new collection that is out by Vivid Glam Co. There are 7 colors in the collection, and the collection is called Giddy Up 2. Like giddy up, like horsey giddy up. So most of the colors are plays on things around that type of a vibe, like a giddy up type of vibe. So I'll show you all the colors and the names and you'll see what I mean. But all of the colors are so pretty. I was very impressed with the packaging. The branding really stood out to me. I like the little detail on the bottles, like the little animal print. I also like the heart on top of the jars. I thought that was really cute too. So I'm going to show you each one of the colors by name first, and then I'll show you the inside of the jars. The first one is Watering Hole. That's a pretty like blue color. The second one is Wanted. And again, there are 7 whole colors in this collection, and all of them kind of play well together, which I found to be really good. The next one is Whoa Nelly. Whoa Nelly. Whoa Nelly. The next one is Chap My Hide. Chap My Hide is like a solid type color with a shimmer in it, but again, I'm going to show you guys the colors in just a second. The next one is Fire Water. Fire Water. The next one is Save a Horse. And the last one is Rope and Ride. Rope and Ride. That's the last one. So I'm going to go through now and open all the jars so that you can see each one and how they look, the colors. Again, this collection really plays well together. Like all of the colors really look nice together. Like you can mix and match a lot of these colors together, which I do like in a collection. Like generally, if you're going to put out a collection, I feel like the collection should be cohesive in that you can mix and match several different manis and colors with the colors that come within that collection. I feel like they nailed it with this one. So that was a plus for me. I really did enjoy the colors. Now, after opening all of these colors, I actually had to decide on colors to use for a mani. Like, that was the hardest part of the whole thing. Like, it's always the hardest part for me to decide which colors I'm going to use because I love all colors. But in this particular video, I decided to use the 2 blue colors, which are Watering Hole and Save a Horse. She also sent me this ring set of really cute rings. They are available on her website as well. So I will link that website in the description box so everyone can find it. But now it's time to get started with the colors. I am using all of her liquids in this video. This will be my first time using her liquids. I also heard good things about her liquids and have never used them. So this is going to be a first time for that as well. And when I started using them, let me tell you, I really like the liquids. Spoiler alert, I loved the liquids. Now I'm going to tell you why I love them as I'm using them. You can see that this brush is fanning out, but it's not fanning out super wide. It was very easy to control the liquid to make sure it stayed in the place where you put it. It didn't run, it didn't flood my cuticles. It was the perfect consistency. It was just great. More about the liquids later, but let's talk about this dip. This dip has glitter in it. And for the most part, glitters can be very challenging to work with. It can be hard to get glitters to lay flat. Like if you press down on them, it depends on the type of glitter that's in the dip. It can be very hard to get them to lay flat. And if you don't get glitters to lay flat, then they come out bumpy on the top and then you end up having to file. And when you file some glitters, you end up filing the color off and it ends up being just weird and all kinds of crazy things start happening. This particular glitter, I dipped my finger in it, the glitters were sticking up. I very lightly tapped on the top and the glitters just laid down completely flat. The ideal situation when you're dealing with glitters, like that's what you want. Some glitters are not like that. I'm just going to tell you right now, some glitters are not. This one absolutely was. Super easy to work with. The glitters were very forgiving. Like I could push them around easily. See, you can see how they're bumpy on the top with just a light tap of my finger tapping on the top to make sure that the glitters are flat. They went completely flat. I was even able to take the glitters that were around my cuticle, kind of the ones that were laying like over the side of my nail, and just push them up. Also, I believe the liquids had a lot to do with that. The liquids were kind of slow drying, but I didn't find it to be super slow. For me, it was the perfect amount of time once you apply the dip liquids, put it into the dip powder, that you had enough time to work and move things around to where it wasn't really super wet when you're trying to move things around. Because if it's too wet, when you touch it, all of it will come off and like it'll mostly wipe off. If it's too dry, then you won't be able to move things around at all. I felt like I had the perfect amount of time to be able to maneuver things to get placed exactly where I wanted them before the dip base dried, which was great. I'm using one of my favorite tools, which is a water marbling tool, to help clean around the cuticles. I absolutely love this thing. I will have it linked in the description box along with other items that I use in my videos in the description box. In my Amazon storefront, the link will be in the description box. You can use a toothpick to go around and clean your cuticles. That is also an option. I used a toothpick for a very long time. When I graduated to this water marbling tool, I promise I went back and bought a second one just in case something happened to my first one. I wanted to be sure that I had another one because I love it that much. Let me also add that you could use a piece of wax paper or a piece of a plastic bag to tap down your glitters. As you can see, I'm getting glitter on my fingers. I don't mind that. I just use a file to kind of file it off. If I get too much on there, I just use one of my regular hand files and file it off. But you can also use a piece of wax paper, which I find to be the best thing to use. I've used plastic before, but I kind of prefer the wax paper because nothing sticks to it. By design, it's set up to be non-stick. So if you use it even on almost wet dip, it kind of nothing really sticks to it. So I really do like using wax paper. I cut it up in little small pieces. I'll show you all that in another video. Today I just happened to use my finger and it didn't get too messy, so I was able to work with that pretty well. So now I'm just going to finish up my first round of dip on the glitter color, and then I'm going to go to the second round of dip on the glitter color. I'm going to speed that up because it's exactly what happened the first time, and I'll be back. Alright, so now I have the second dip just about done, and the sparkle is really starting to come through on that glitter. I love it. Love, love, love it. So now we're going to move on to the other color for the other two nails. The other color I'm going to use is Save a Horse. Save a Horse is a solid type of a color, but it has little flakes in it. It has little pink and gold shimmery iridescent type flakes in it. They're real small. They're hardly visible, but once you dip your finger in them, you can see them. Now let's talk about this dip liquid again. Now in this dip liquid, the way you could control that liquid is crazy. Like you see, I brushed my finger with that dip liquid. I dipped into the dip powder. There's hardly anything moving around my cuticles. There's hardly anything around my cuticles at all. It looks perfectly applied. No running, no nothing. I am just loving these dip liquids. I love them. So I'm just going to finish up my first round of dip on this color and then move on to the second round, which I will speed up again, and I'll see you again in a few minutes. So at this point, all the layers of color are done. We're now going to go ahead and cover everything in clear. This is a clear dip powder. Encapsulating your glitters in clear is a very important step. It keeps the top layer of your manicure smooth. Like it covers in some of the bumps and lumps that may be left over from the glitter that's not necessarily laying flat. If you put a clear layer on top of it, that gives you a layer to go ahead and file, that you can file smooth without any fear of filing your glitters. When you file the glitters, again, I was saying earlier, you can file the color off of it. You can do all kinds of weird things with glitter once you start filing the glitter. But when you put a layer of protection with the clear on top of it, that really helps to correct any of that. Like it gives you a buffer to be able to go ahead and file without any worry. I cover every mani with clear, whether it's a solid or a glitter or a shimmer or a foil. Every manicure gets a layer of clear on top of it because I like to file, because I like the surface of my manicures to be smooth. So I file, buff, buff. So I have to put clear on top. All your clear is on and you've dusted off any extra dip powder that's on your fingers, it's time to activate. Activate is just simply a hardener. It is what is used to harden the dip powder on your nail. It is what is used to help harden the top coat when you use it later on. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but it is simply a hardener. It's what makes everything hard enough for you to be able to go in there and file and not damage all of the work that you've done. The hardener is an absolute requirement. It is a step 2 in most kits. All dip powder liquid sets come with an activator of some sort. They may have a different name, they may have a different type of packaging, but they all have a hardener in them because it is a required step. Once all of your activator is applied, then you can go in there and file and file and file, and you're not going to damage your manicure at all. I went ahead and filed and buffed off camera for this video. But this is everything after it's filed and buffed, and this is what it looks like. So now I'm going to go in with one more layer of activator. Now this coat of activator is just to harden the top coat. It's not hardening the nail at all. The nail is already hardened from the previous layers of activator, but this helps to dry or cure the top coat, the dip liquid top coat. This helps to cure it. You can stop at this point and not add the activator and go on with the gel base and a gel top coat, and then put your hand under a UV light and then you'll be done. But for purposes of this video, I was sent all dip liquids, and honestly it's the method that I prefer. I always have preferred to use all dip liquids for my dipping process and save the UV lights for times when I want to do some specialty types of things. That way I'm not using the UV light all the time. After you apply your last coat of activator, wait 1 to 2 minutes exactly, no longer than 2 minutes, and wipe your fingers and the nail with a paper towel or a lint-free wipe. Either one of those will work, but be sure to wipe off any extra activator that may be on your fingers because that will harden your top coat brush. Then you go in with a quick swipe of top coat. Don't take too long, go in just a quick swipe over the top to cover it. Being sure to wipe the brush on the paper towel before you put it back into the bottle. You can easily drag some of the activator from your finger into your bottle and it will contaminate your whole bottle and the whole bottle will be ruined. So please be sure to wipe off your brush before you put it back into the bottle after the first round. When you go back in for the second round of top coat, you don't have to do that because the top coat has covered any activator that's on the nail and you don't have to do it the second time. You can take your time with the second coat of top coat to make sure everything is covered properly. Make sure your sides are covered properly. Make sure everything is on point. And then you just let that dry for a couple of minutes. It dries very, very, very quickly. And this is what it looks like when it dries. Everything looks perfect. I love it. The only thing left to do is to add cuticle oil to your cuticles to make sure everything is nice and moisturized. And then you're done. So in the end, I absolutely love this company. I will be buying from this company. I do love the liquids. The top coat was super shiny. I loved everything about the entire process. So I will be buying from this company on my own. Again, these products were sent to me, but I will be spending my own coins to buy from this company. I will leave information about the company in the description box. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for pictures, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye for now.